I'm J.R. Church. Welcome to today's analysis of the news. You know, the United Nations is going to be meeting in September. Well, according to Haaretz.com, an Israeli news source, the President, Obama, is going to be in New York for 3 days. During that time, he hopes to meet with both Benjamin Netanyahu and Mahmoud Abbas, head of the Palestinian Authority. If he can have this little trilateral meeting, maybe he can kickstart the peace negotiations again. So according to this, it reported Tuesday, this just a few days ago, Washington will announce the renewal of talks between Israel and the Palestinian Authority through such a trilateral summit. The meeting would take place on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly late this month. 2 years would be allotted to completing talks on a peace agreement. And it says that on Monday, President Shimon Peres confirmed that such a summit was being considered, according to a request by President Obama. And then it says U.S. officials briefed representatives of several European Union countries last week on the diplomatic vision Obama will present at the UN. So our president is going to be speaking to the world body, and he's going to offer his peace solution. Isn't that marvelous? Last week, after meeting Netanyahu in London, Special U.S. Envoy George Mitchell briefed several European Union foreign ministers on the latest developments in the Middle East peace talks. Meanwhile, senior White House officials updated several European ambassadors on their plan for advancing the negotiations. Israeli envoys Yitzhak Molko and Brigadier General Mike Herzog flew to Washington on Monday of this week for talks with Mr. Mitchell. The U.S. officials told the Europeans that in the coming weeks, possibly before the General Assembly opens, Washington could declare an agreement for confidence-building measures drafted by Israel and the Palestinians to allow talks to progress. And one U.S. official said, "We didn't reach 100% of what we wanted in Israel and the Arab states, but we got enough to allow for the renewal of talks." The agreement would call for Israel to temporarily or partially freeze settlement building, though the length of the freeze was not stipulated. Quote, "In the next meeting with the Israeli negotiating team, the issue will be settled conclusively," end of quote. A U.S. official said their counterparts in Jerusalem said the freeze could last at least 6 to 9 months. And one Israeli source said the freeze could last up to a year. Meanwhile, the American officials said that they had achieved a series of normalization steps by Arab states toward Israel, although Saudi Arabia had declined to commit any goodwill gestures toward Israel. Instead, it is transferring several $100 million to the authorities in Ramallah. Ramallah, of course, is the headquarters of the late Yasser Arafat and the headquarters of the current Palestinian Authority. Mahmoud Abbas lives in Ramallah. Ramallah is located, a few miles north of Jerusalem. Well, the American officials said that after talks are renewed, they would be interested in convening an international peace summit before the end of this year. European and Israeli diplomats said that Moscow is a leading possibility to host the meeting, and that members of the quartet of the Middle East negotiations have already promised Russia to hold the meeting in that nation's capital. Well, 2 years, Obama says he's going to give this speech to the United Nations. In 2 years, we'll have a Palestinian state. Let's see, that would be very close to the year 2012, wouldn't it? Since 2009 is almost over, 2010, when these talks get underway, that would be 11 and 12. 2012 would be an interesting time to establish a Palestinian state, especially when a movie's coming out in a couple of months on 2012, the end of the world. And, of course, the Mayan calendar is the impetus for all of this interest in the year 2012. In fact, we are currently offering a book in our September issue of Prophecy in the News on 2012. It's called 2012 Is This the End? And we have a review of that article on page 17 of our magazine. On page 5, we have the ad, 2012 Is This the End? By Lloyd Hildebrand. And it's a fascinating book. This is only the first of many that are to come out shortly with the word 20 or the letters 2012 across the title. What will happen in the year 2012? Well, we don't know for sure, but hey, things are moving in a very